chips and coffee. And I thought today we would riff about 3 lessons that I've learned from putting together and starting a podcast. You know, putting a podcast together for someone who hasn't done it before or hasn't done a YouTube channel or anything like that can be a little bit scary because, you're putting it out there. And the number one lesson that I've learned is that being vulnerable is the key. I'm so used to coaching, so this was a challenge for me because I'm really used to coaching. And coaching is just, okay, so here's what you do. So here's what you do. Here's what you do. It's very one note. This is that, it's very teacher style. And while that's great, you don't build a relationship with people that way. In order to build a relationship with people, you have to go deep and you have to be willing to share examples of your life and talk about things that have happened to you. And you have to be willing to hit those highs and lows. Vulnerability makes it possible for the audience to not just hear your tips, but to feel and understand that you relate with them. You know what they're going through and that you're a human being and a person that they can get behind. So vulnerability is the biggest lesson that I've learned about podcasts. Really being with someone and listening and expressing what's really there for me instead of trying to perform, do something that I think that I should be doing. Just truly being open and vulnerable. The second lesson that I've learned is you have to provide value too. I mean, especially if you're doing something like what I'm doing. It actually doesn't matter what you're doing. The value is in whatever it is. Maybe you're entertaining. Maybe you're, doing business coaching, and so you're adding that kind of value. But you have to add value or your audience isn't going to show up. So it's great to be vulnerable. It's great to be entertaining. But you have to make sure, too, that you're leaving them with value that they can take home. Something. Humor, an epiphany, inspiration, some kind of value. Catchy titles. And this is a funny one. I say catchy, and it sounds kind of manipulative. I'm not talking about coming up with titles just to get somebody to open it. But the reality is that if you don't use titles that are engaging, if you don't use titles that are worded in a way that somebody would want to click on it, then they won't click on it. So those titles, even for your podcast, are really important because our time is so precious. And for you mompreneurs out there, your time's even more precious. You don't have any time. You're going to spend every waking moment that you're not working with your kid, and when you're with your kid and you're working, and you don't have time. So the time that you spend to record a podcast, to provide value for someone where you put your heart out on the table, you want them to actually click on it. So those titles are critical. So start perusing through YouTube channels. Look at titles that you would click on. You'll know right away, I wouldn't click on that, I wouldn't click on that. Ooh, but I would click on that. And start looking at the techniques that they're using. And that'll really help. And then I'll just throw in a quick bonus. Consistency. One of the worst things that I ever did, one of the best things I ever did was have a baby. But one of the worst things that I did while I was having a baby is I checked out of my social media. That is not a good idea. Because if you are, your customers, they're expecting something from you. You want to make sure you're providing that for them on a consistent basis. You don't need to be doing a podcast every day or 3 times a day. You could do it once a week or once a month. But whatever it is you commit to, keep showing up for your customers. They learn to expect that they're getting something from you. And that piece is really, really important. It says that you're in it for the long haul. It says that they should invest in your brand because you're going to be there for them. You're not just going to trail off. So just a few valuable lessons that I wanted to share with you. I'll run through it really quick. 1, vulnerability. 2, value. 3, engaging titles. And then finally, the bonus one was consistency. Okay? Cheers. Have a great day.